Where's Ross?
Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. And this is our first session back open to the public, and we've got a decent crowd in here trying to keep everybody socially distanced. If you can't be 6 feet apart, we would ask that you can keep a mask on, just for safety. I don't know if everybody here has one or not. Anyhow, we like to start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. This morning, I've asked our Public Safety Director and Fire Coordinator, Stacy Halcomb, if he would open us up in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I forgot to say Emergency Management Director as well, so thank you, Stacy. Okay, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda will be approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. Received a copy of those. What would be your pleasure?
Motion to accept.
Motion by Wilson. Second by Turpin. Any further discussion?
Number 7, I think the road's still spelled wrong.
7.
I just seen it. Is it Turner, isn't it?
It's, I think it's spelled Buren Turner, B-U-R-E-N, T-U-R-N-E-R.
Just need to make that correction.
Okay. Got that, Alicia? Okay, so we got one correction there. Any further discussion? We'll vote to approve the minutes with one correction. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you. Okay. In old business, we have road hearings, but we need to go into an executive session to discuss that. I'd like to push that towards the end of the meeting so we can get through our other business and let our personnel get on to their departments. So we're going to go on into new business. Today I've got two things we need to do in new business. We have with us today Bill Nykirk from Nykirk Insurance Agency, and you've got a copy of the proposal in front of you for insurance, and I'd like to recommend that we go ahead and keep our same insurance plan that we've had for a while here. So I'd need a motion and a second to accept that plan.
Second.
We have a motion by Wielden, second by Wilson. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then also, along with that, would like to entertain a motion to keep Bill Nykirk as our agent.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson, a second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and I've been asked by Donita if that were to pass, in open enrollment this year will not be in-person enrollment, but they will send out enrollment documentation with the next payroll stubs, and those must be turned back in to Donita by October the 30th. So please, employees, please look for those in your pay stubs. All right, next then we have our,
Judge, before you move on, I've got about 3 items of new business here that I need to, all involving real estate stuff.
okay,
First of all, there's a deed of correction that's been presented to me for consideration by the court, and it goes back to the Judicial Plaza and all that property. And it's the little building, I guess it would be north of Eddie Montgomery's office and south of the old Citizens Bank office buildings, that little bitty brick building that sits in there. Apparently, back when all of this property was taken in, that was intended to be excluded. And so there was a subsequent deed of correction done because the original deed, where the property was all deeded to the county, that little building was not excluded. So subsequently, a deed of correction was prepared, but now First and Farmers is going to sell that building, and the people doing the title search figured out that prior deed of correction was not properly done, so it needs to be basically another deed of correction done to clear the title up on it. And so I've got a proposed deed of correction here for the judge to sign if the court approves him doing so. Just need a motion and a second and a vote. Unless you got any
Motion.
questions.
Second. Have a motion by Wilson, a second by Wheeldon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Secondly, I have a quitclaim deed that is for, Dan, you can explain it better than I can, but it's over across, on University Drive across the street, what I call the little Brook Ping development with all little colorful houses. And there was a lot of moving of dirt and rerouting of drainage and so forth that went on when, I guess, this was all done, and there's a plat, but you can better explain from there.
If you're looking at, if you're standing in University Drive and you're looking at our senior citizens center, the row of houses on the left-hand side, the one in the cul-de-sac, when it was originally built, it was actually backed up to a wider retention drain, which when the little lady stepped out of her back porch, she actually could fall into that retention drain. But when they backfilled it, this provides probably 5 or 6 or 10 foot of yard that sits right behind her house that, as they backfilled, it expanded that yard for that property.
So this is a quitclaim deed, quitclaiming that little, it's 1,780 square feet.
Yeah.
As surveyed by Anthony Thompson, quitclaiming that little piece of property to her. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. We have a motion by Wilson, a second by Wheeldon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I guess I said the grantee would be Patricia Farmer, who's the landowner there. Thirdly, we've talked a little bit in times past about a little tract of land down off the 914 bypass that was, when Slate Branch and 914 went in, Slate Branch was moved. There's a little triangle of land there. I've been approached by someone's attorney about him purchasing that. Of course, as the court knows, prior to a year or two ago, there were only 2 or 3 ways you could dispose of property. But now the legislature has added a 4th way, and you can get an appraisal on property and do a private sale if the value of it is under a certain amount. So what I would ask you to do on this particular piece of property is authorize the surveying of the property, the cost of having it surveyed, and getting an appraisal and seeing what the value of it is.
I went down and I was mistaken on where this property was. I went down and found where the property is. I really don't think it's useful as a property at all. I mean, it's just a sliver.
Yeah, it may not be, but I think legally you have to jump through that hoop if you want to do a private disposition of it.
Because it is considered an asset, which is something that we are audited on.
Yeah.
Or could we take a sealed bid on it?
You can always do that.
Without a,
Yeah. But you'll have to advertise it, so
Yes.
you'll have to authorize the money to advertise it. So either way, you're gonna spend something.
like we're gonna spend $600-700 to get it appraised or better.
Probably.
How do we advertise to the public where the property is if we don't even know where it is? get
Well,
surveyed.
I mean, we've got to, I think you're gonna,
It does have a, you sent me a plat of it, so
Yeah.
we do have a plat where
been
it's located.
surveyed, yeah.
So we'll have to mark it like a county road, put a sign up?
If you want to, take sealed bids or have a public auction. Yeah.
Whatever the court wants to do, if y'all want to have it surveyed and appraised, we can do that, or we can just advertise it for sealed bid or auction.
I'd say we have it surveyed, so I'll make a motion.
Have a surveyed and appraised, right? And we have a motion to have the property surveyed and appraised. Second.
Second.
Second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Is that all you had?
Yes, thank you.
All right. And I did want to bring your attention to something before we move on to our department reports. We have, if you have not been in the courtroom a while, there's a new addition to our courtroom. And I want to point out on the wall here, if you'll look at this, this nice clock face, and I don't know if Jason can get that on, on camera or not. But the newspaper ran a little article about this. Bill Martis wrote a real nice piece several months ago before COVID-19 came along, but we finally have been able to put this clock up. Back when the old courthouse was taken down, there was a clock tower that had 4 faces facing each direction. And when they demolished this, Marshal Davenport was able to rescue one of the clock faces. Mostly, you know, it's not original components. There's been some attempt to fix it up. But Marshal Davenport, our former clerk here, rescued this and had it in his home as a reminder. You know, he served many, many years for Pulaski County. And then Vicki Good purchased Marshal Davenport's home not long ago, and in the basement of the home was this clock face, and she did some research on it and has given us an article from the time period of when it was rescued. And she so graciously donated that back to the county, and we think we've got a nice piece of history now hanging in our courtroom. So I want to say thank you to Vicki for her kindness and donating that back to fiscal court. Thank you for all those that helped secure that and move it and install it here at the courthouse. So neat little piece of history for you. All right, so thank you. Moving on then to our department reports. We have our road department. Today we've got 2 things. First of all, you've got your road work requests in front of you. I don't think we have a speed limit sign on those, do we? Have y'all see that? If we don't, we can go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the road work request as a whole.
Motion.
Motion by Ranshaw. Second.
Second.
Second by Wheeldon. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And then Eugene has asked me to request that he needs to order 500 tons of cold mix to get on hand for the winter months.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, a second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next in will be 911 call center. Aaron would like to speak to us about a personnel change.
Good morning. Yes, I hired a part-time individual. We have one resigned and one retired not too long ago. I'd like to move Devin Fortenberry from part-time to full-time at 911.
Motion.
Motion by Ranshaw,
Second.
second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. We've got looking, I don't see anybody from the jail here, but we do have jail policy revisions that have been submitted. Seeing those, do we need to have a motion to approve those, or we just,
Yes.
entertain a motion to approve our jail policy revisions.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ranshaw,
Second.
second by Wielden. Have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next then will be our treasurer's report. Joan, you've got a few things it looks like here.
Yeah. Okay. The, excuse me. The first item I have would be, the bill list for the first court meeting, the first bill list of, October.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item I have would be the bank reconciliations for the month of September. That gets me confused.
A motion to accept the bank reconciliation.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson,
Second.
second by Wielden. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. The next item I have, I am switching out budget transfers for a budget amendment. As this is an ordinance, we do have to have two readings, and it has to go to the state local finance officer for approval. I'd like to do the first reading of a budget amendment in the amount of $4,642,111. Now, I know that to the public, that is gonna seem excessive, but we also have to remember that we did have a land sale proceed in this from the Garner property, which was, it was unbudgeted and unexpected, and we also had, some CARES money. So that's what bumps it up so muneed
You say it's first reading, so then we'll need to advertise, get permission to advertise for a second.
Yes, sir.
So we need a motion to advertise for a second reading.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wielden, second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay. The last item I have would be three fund transfers. Of course, as most of you all know, we're right now in our lean season, so these transfers are to make our funds whole so we can get through the month. And just to let the public know, one is to the general fund from the occupational tax fund of $250,000, the jail fund from the general fund for $150,000, and the 911 fund from the general fund for $50,000.
Motion.
Motion by Wilson, second by Ranshaw. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Right, let's see.
That's
I'm gonna
all I
make-
have, thanks,
Thank
gentlemen.
you, Joan. I'm gonna make a few announcements here, and then we'll probably need to go into an executive session. But first, I want to announce that tomorrow at 11 o'clock, it's a big day for Pulaski County, as the Mill Springs National Park will be formally dedicated, and on hand will be our Senate President Mitch McConnell, Senate Leader, I guess is his title, and what's that?
Majority Leader.
Majority Leader. And then we'll have Hal Rogers and his staff on hand, and there'll be many representatives from the National Park Association, and they're going to have a big dedication and big celebration. So please come out tomorrow at 11 o'clock. enjoying that special day for us. Then also, we've got Friday from 5 to 7 at our Firebrook Park. We're having our Trail of Treats. It will be COVID-friendly, I guess, and they will be practicing social distancing and safety precautions there. So that's Friday from 5 to 7. That's all the announcements I have for public. Anybody have anything they need to announce?
Just to interject one thing,
Yes, sir.
the Mill Springs event will be at the museum and it will be outside.
Just in case you couldn't pick that up on the microphone, the Mill Springs event will be at the museum and it will be outside. Thank you. All right, so we have road hearings scheduled to go into, but we do have a couple issues I think that we're going to need to discuss in an executive session. Also, we have a real estate discussion we need to have with our mayor has joined us today, so I'd like to see if we could go into executive session for those reasons. We need a motion and a second to do that.
Motion.
Motion by Ranshaw, second by Turpin. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we will try to resume as soon as we can. If you need to leave the meeting, we've conducted all the business except for the road hearings at this point. Thank you all. In executive session. However, we do have some very important business. It's, it's not a clear-cut decision this court has to make, but it's a decision that affects people regardless. And we have a couple very complex issues to deal with regarding these roads and these road hearings. We have one of our magistrates who could not be here today, and we have some new, I'll say, information that our county attorney has presented to us, and I'm going to let, if you will, Martin, if you'll kind of address some of your concerns of what we're dealing with and what your recommendation is to this court.
Two of the roads, there needs to be some more information gathered. That was, what were those two names, Dan?
Pins and Feathers and Jay McLaughlin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so needs to be more information obtained before the court should rule on those two roads. On the other road, Jeremy, I know you and Dr. Bruner are interested in that. As you well know, you all have a motion for discretionary review pending before the Supreme Court of Kentucky. So I've advised the court to wait until that has been ruled on before they make a determination with regard to whether this road can be taken into the county maintenance system or not.
So with this advice from our county attorney, we do put a lot of trust in Martin on this. My recommendation will be that we would postpone any further action on these hearings until we have, first of all, gathered more information on the two roads in question and also heard from our state Supreme Court whether they will hear this discretionary hearing. We don't need do we need a motion to go with that, or just?
Nope. Just let the, Alicia can put it in the minutes.
What's the road with the state Supreme Court?
Pardon me?
What's the road
Ed
name?
Meese.
What is it?
Is it Edwin Meese? or
Edward Mason.
Edward Meese Road.
Mr. Haffner, would you like for me to notify you whenever we get?
When you hear something from them,
Communication from the Supreme Court?
yeah, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys. We're gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna excuse myself.
Can I talk to you a minute before you go? We're going to adjourn here in just a minute.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
So with nothing further then on the agenda, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Wilson, second by Rancho. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you all.